So this is the Battle of Antietam by Angelina Abeda. So the battle started September 17th, 1862 at Antietam Creek in Maryland. There were 2,100 Union deaths, 1,550 Confederate deaths, with a total of 3,650 deaths. That is a lot. So here's the battle map. The soldiers used the creek, which is where you see all of the blue and red meeting up, towards their advantage, to keep them from mixing their soldiers together. So here are the battle generals, Robert E. Lee and George B. McClellan. Robert E. Lee was a Confederate general. He led Virginia, and George B. McClellan was a lot of things, including the governor of New Jersey. So there was 40,000 Confederate soldiers and 65,000 Union soldiers. Their battle strategies included of battle lines, so they were shooting, ducking, reloading, and repeating for 12 hours straight until it got to a stalemate. So for the account of the battle, McClellan, the Union general, found Lee when he discovered a Confederate map. McClellan followed Lee's movements and found him at Antietam. Lee deployed his forces behind Antietam Creek on a hill. This hill was good for defense but not so good for offense. The battle didn't start until the afternoon of September 17th, 1862, when a Union soldier attacked a Confederate soldier down the creek. In the North Woods, an artillery battle started from the Confederates by shooting at the Union troops. The Union returned with army lines on the other side. The battle continued the whole day. The Union managed to push the Confederates farther toward the river. The Union shifted their shots to the center of the Confederate line. They wanted to divide the line and take control of the bridge across the river. The Confederates were pushed from the right side across the river and back to their original hill, then brought in more soldiers to defend themselves. General Robert E. Lee was forced to retreat with only 75% of his army left. The Union claimed the victory and stopped Robert E. Lee from heading to the north. So this is the personal story about Lieutenant Sebastian Duncan Jr. He was a soldier from the Union. So here is the lieutenant's letter to him from his mother during battle. He said, "We were finally, however, ordered to lie down in a cornfield, and stray shot and shell began to whiz over our heads and burst around us. Of course, everyone thought it was incumbent upon him to dodge every time he heard a cheer-woo, even though it was flying 100 feet above us. This feeling soon passed away, however, and the boys were decidedly too anxious to get up and see what was going on. They were soon satisfied. We were ordered to get up and throw off our bundles. I, in this way, lost my rubber and woolen blankets and have not seen them since, and marched left into the woods. Lying just in front of us, our lines, there was a great number of dead and wounded. One poor fellow lay before us, one leg shot off, the other shattered and otherwise badly wounded, fairly shrieking with pain." So the Union claimed victory after a stalemate between both sides. After this, President Lincoln released the Emancipation Proclamation. This declared that all persons held as slaves within the Confederate States are and henceforward shall be free. This also declared that those free slaves could join the Union, giving the North more soldiers and more power. This gave the Union more power and almost made the sides equal. Because the Confederate had so much funding towards their military, now the Union had just enough soldiers to make it even. It was a turning point because Lincoln released the Emancipation Proclamation and the Union gained more soldiers. So some interesting facts were the battle was named by the Union after the creek nearby called Antietam, but by the South it was called the Battle of Sharpsburg. The Battle of Antietam is considered the bloodiest day in the history of the American War, with over 23,000 soldiers wounded, killed, or missing. Much of the fighting was done in close range, within 100 yards or less. And then here are my sources.